Fuck! Hi, I'm Jess. I'm a little drunk, and today I'm gonna tell you about this little rat-faced bastard, Bach. Besides that beer, I've been drinking High Noons. Hashtag not sponsored. Because I think that Bach would love High Noons. I think that Bach would get white girl wasted on High Noons. But yeah, Bach. He's from Game of the Year Elden Ring. Have you played it? If you haven't, you should. DLC comes out really soon. You know, as I'm sitting here, maybe I should have made this video on a character at all relevant to the DLC. But fuck it, Bach. So where is he? Upon your first meeting with Bach, you can really miss him. He's literally disguised as a bush in Limgrave. And he's like yelling. He's like, hello, please. No, but he goes, oi! Oi! He's like, oi, you there? And he's like, what does he say? He's like, could you help us out, Cully? And like, what is a Cully? Maybe I should actually look it up. Merriam-Webster. Cully. One easily tricked or imposed on? Am I being punked? What the fuck? I think Bach is preying on me, or at least negging me. But he eventually goes, why won't anyone look me in the eye? I'm not that ugly. Which, like, you know, this is the tip of the iceberg for Bach. Bach's Roman Empire, if people still say that. So then you like whack the bush with whatever weapon you're using. Maybe a little moon veil, maybe a little bloodhound step, maybe a little uchi if you're a woman after my own heart. But anyway, you whack him with your weapon and he yells at you. He's like, what did you do that for? Which I'm like, bro, you asked for this. You asked us to help you. But yeah, anyway, he's like, thank you so much. I'm Bach. Someone turned me into a tree. Embarrassing. But also like a tree? That's a small fucking tree. That's bush status in my opinion. And I know a thing or two about a bush. So yeah, anyway, somebody turned him into a tree. And to thank us for freeing him, he gives us a mushroom. And like, is this all he has? I'll take it. You know, it's a nice gesture. And then he's like, I was pushed out of this cave, you know. I was evicted from my home and like beaten up. And they took everything I had, which, okay, now that I'm saying this aloud, that does explain why he only gives us mushrooms. But he's also like, if you're not, he's like, if you're patient, and to be clear, I'm not, but he's like, if you're patient, you know, I'll go back to this cave and get you a proper reward, you know, a reward for de-shrubbing me. And I'm like, you know, you're a little shrimp. You're just a little guy. You're a little weakling. You were once evicted from your cave by force, and now you're gonna go back and win? I'm not so sure. I really don't think if he goes back to that cave, he's not gonna be able to face whatever rocked his shit the first time. And you know what, chat? I'm right. Because when you go find him next in that cave where he came from, which is right here, by the way, you know, pro tip. This is me giving you Elden Ring tips. Comment, like, subscribe. He's just laying down by the grace. He's not doing well. He's like, oh, wow. Oh. That's a pain sound. He's in pain. And he's like, bro, you gotta get out of here. You gotta get out. They're gonna do this to you too. And to that, I say, I can handle myself. I am strong. Oh. And I'm not a little tiny rat-faced bitch. So anyway, you go through the cave and you fight the dudes and the bosses in there, which are all demi-humans. It wasn't until I started researching this video that I realized Bach is a demi-human. I just thought he was like a little rat guy. But that means there's more lore to be had. So let's get into it. So Bach's a demi-human, but then what is a demi-human? Well, they're the little shits that scream and then smack you. And they're like demi, which is Latin for half, I think. So half human, and I assume the other half is beast. So yeah, they're apparently kind of like bloodthirsty, some would say. And you know who would say this? Please, I'm using Fextra Life, but I'm drunk, so it's allowed. Demi-human ashes. You know who would say this? The demi-human ashes. Hungover Jess, can you just make this look nicer? Can you show them the real item description? It says, spirits of demi-humans that are small in stature, but have a violent, brutish disposition. Okay. Though they seem somewhat intelligent, when night falls, their blood boils and they become feral, which hold the phone. I think this is Bloodborne-y. You know, night falling, humans becoming beastly. Call me crazy, but anyway. Demi-humans in general, so what's their deal? It seems as though they kind of have this hierarchical society. Those Bloodborne dudes that I just showed you, I think they're at the bottom. Then there's the big guys with the big sticks and the bigger guys with the bigger sticks. Actually, I think those are girls, those are queens, which now that I say that, I think it's a matriarchal society. And Maggie, demi-human queen Maggie, actually does use magic. So like that kind of shows, you know, they use advanced-ish magic. They're not just glintstone pebbling this shit. Definitely a sign of intelligence. And you know who else has a sign of intelligence? You know, intelligent enough to grovel and give you mushrooms and like, you know, be pissed and yell at you for de-shrubberying him even though he asked you to do that? It's Bach. So why did Smarty Pants Bach get kicked out of this cave, right? Like he's a demi-human. The demi-humans are living in this cave. Like what's the beef? I think it's cause he was like a little bit of a smarty pants. I think it's cause he was trying to be a little bit like too posh and like the demi-humans in that cave were like,
bro, stop, dude.
And he was like, not now, kitten whiskers. I mean, he was like, no. And yeah, I think it was like too much of a nerd for them. So yeah, then you go back to this cave and like you kill his whole family, but it's okay, they were mean. The drop you get from the bosses in that cave, which is a duo boss. Woo! Oh, can we get an air horn? There it is, duo boss. They drop some sewing tools, which like huge. And reading the descriptions, you know, it tells us it's Bach's sewing tools. So like obvi, we're gonna go give Bach his tools back. Bach is fucking stoked about his sewing tools. He brings up his mom and how much he loved her and how much he wanted to be like her and also how she was a seamstress. Key point there. He basically at this point rediscovers his lease on life. He's like, I shouldn't just curl up and die. Maybe I should sew some clothes. And that's what he does. The next time we meet Bach, it's after that Godric fight. You go through and then you go down and then you come out like into Liurnia and it's like that cool vista, which I compared to Breath of the Wild. And that everybody in my YouTube Shorts comments was like, you fool! Not everything is Zelda. I still think it reminds me of Breath of the Wild. Anyway, Bach is there at the Grace and he's like, I will sew stuff for you for free. So yeah, Bach is sewing you stuff for free. He's so happy. And you know what else will make Bach happy? Another needle, which you can get in a chest by the Pope Turtle. So yes, you retrieve from this chest by Pope Turtle a golden sewing needle, which apparently Radagon brought with him when he shacked up with Renala in his first marriage. So it's like a royal sewing needle, kind of a big deal. Now keep talking to Bach. Build his trust. You know, you love Bach. And eventually Bach will confess something to you. Something kind of dark and deep. Bach will be like, my lord, pick 3, my lord. No, he'll say, have you ever wished to be born again? I heard Renala dabbles in those arts. And then you kind of like, you know, give him the old eyebrow raise. And he's like, oh, me? I mean, look at me. Like, when you're this ugly, being reborn, like, it barely makes a difference. And to that, it's like, Bach. Have a little self-respect. Just a little shred of self-respect. You're great. Did I call you a little rat-faced fuck earlier in this video? Perhaps I did. But that's just because I was mad that you got mad about me freeing you from that tree. I wouldn't even say you're not that ugly. I think you're beautiful. And frankly, that is what Bach needs to hear. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, if you're like me, On your first playthrough, you probably like weren't really thinking twice. You were just like doing your little From Software quest, and like he's asking you for like a larval tear so he can be reborn. And what else are you to do but to grant his request? And if you were like me, you see what happens. And the game, honestly, before you even finish out his quest, fulfill his wishes, the game is gonna tell you what's up. If you read Renala's Great Rune, it says, children born anew by Renala are all frail and short-lived. So they tell you what's gonna happen. And yet, we will never listen. So you go grab a larval tear, you bring it to Bach. You know, larval tear is an item you get usually underground, and it's like, you know, you give it to Renala and then she rebirths you. Rebirth. Anyway, she rebirths you, and so you go into Bach so that he can be rebirthed by Renala and become beautiful, you know, all these things. And he's like, this is precious? Are you sure this is for me? I'm like, yes, Bach, it's for you, dude. I killed Balchan to get this for you. So yeah, he's like, all right, sick. I'm going to Renala's house. And so you go to Renala's house because he says he's gonna be there. And then when you get there, you'll see him, but he's not like, you know, okay, so you see a being. And to be specific, it's a little lad in a hat, kind of doing like this. And whose pose is that? It's Bach's pose. He's beautiful, you know, he's more human than demi-human, I would say, you know? So when you sit at that grace and you reload, you will witness true horror, as they say. Bach, fallen over, dead. And yeah, you know, this was our fault. We did this. We told Bach, like, you know what? Yeah, you are a little ugly and we can fix it. Don't learn to love yourself. Don't do that. You know, I will just fix the problem. And so he dies. Horrible. If only there was another way. But wait, there could be. There is. That's right, chat. Go and pick up an item. It is located here. Hungover Jess will show you. It is called a prattling pate rock thing. And this is the one that says, you're beautiful. So use this rock and it says, you're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
So yeah, anyway, use this in front of Bach and he's like, mother? At first I was like, that's so silly. Why would you think it's your mom just because she says you're beautiful? But like, then I read the description of the rock and it says, unconditional love, unrestrained assurance. It must have been a mother speaking. So like, honestly, that probably is his literal mom, dude. Like from that demi-human village. Cause when you pick it up, it's like it's on a corpse. Kind of cool. I don't know. Read your item descriptions. Readers are leaders, chat. This could literally be made for Bach by his own mother. And I think that's beautiful, just like Bach. And then he's like, oh man, my mom was really the only one who told me that I was beautiful. And then he's like, my lord, do you think I'm beautiful? And chat, you get to say, that's right, bitch. And he's stoked. He's like, that rules. I'm going to serve you forever, dude. And that's the secret. He lives and he accepts himself. We can help teach Bach to learn to love himself. He lives and doesn't die a weird, beautiful guy at Renala's house. So chat, please love yourself, because if you don't, this is what can happen. Fun fact, did you know they patched Bach in the 1.03 patch to make him more visible because too many people, I guess, were missing him? I think this is a great patch by From Software, you know? We can all do this quest and learn through Bach to love ourselves. Another fun fact, or perhaps a fun question, is who the f turned him into a tree? Because like if the other demi-humans kicked him out for being a nerd, surely they're not the ones using like the nerd magic to turn him into a tree. And a Souls lore creator that I love, her name is Miss Chalice. Shout out to Miss Chalice. She proposed an idea that I quite like for this. She says it could have been Melina that turned him into a tree, not to fuck with him. I don't know if Melina has like a prankster streak. That would be kind of lit if she did, but I think it makes sense for her to do it to protect Bach. Maybe the cave people are gonna come, or sorry, the cave demi-humans are gonna come chase after him, getting himself into trouble. He's just little Bach. Melina might be doing him a solid. And she does mention him in dialogue in Limgrave when you talk to her at Graces and stuff, so who knows? It's possible. Anyway, thanks for partying with me tonight. Long live Bach. Would you like to see more of these videos? Please tell me who you'd like to see me talk about. Also, I will stream the DLC. Please follow me on Twitch, or at least just watch the VODs of that on the VOD channel. You know, I'll put it where it goes. I would tell you that you're beautiful, but I'm too nervous.
You're beautiful.
Ugh, that was easy. Okay, bye. Love yourself. See ya.